To enter inside the museum, you need to take a lift or elevator to the top floor. This is because the tour actually starts from the top. And when I saw the lift, I felt like I've done some kind of time travel. It just looks so futuristic. You get this audio guide and it gives you information as you walk around the museum. This way, you don't need to join a group and you move at your own pace. It's also available in 7 other languages. As I said, the tour starts from the top, then you walk down the museum. Instead of choosing floor by floor, you walk down in a continuous spiral and it feels like you're traveling through time. This is also reflected in the way the cars are displayed. They start with the oldest models to the newest. You can't really take any shortcuts to other levels, so the only thing you can do is rush through certain parts. The tour starts with the birth of the automobile in 1886, and it follows the history of Mercedes Benz chronologically. So along the way, you'll see how the company evolved through different eras. So the story of Mercedes Benz began with Carl Benz. Benz is such a cool last name though. Basically, in 1886, he patented what's widely regarded as the world's first practical automobile, the Benz patent Motorwagen. That's why he's often referred to as the father of the automobile. The Motorwagen only had 3 wheels and was powered by a single-cylinder engine. And at the time, many people thought the idea of having a car without horses was impossible. Carl Benz's wife, Bertha Benz, played a huge role in proving him right. In 1888, she made the world's first long-distance car journey without telling her husband, showing that the car wasn't just an experiment and could actually be used for everyday travel. Apparently, she was on the journey with her 2 sons, and she traveled for 106 kilometers, going at a record-breaking 10 kilometers per hour. Of course, she had to stop for fuel and repairs, but she did manage to drive all of those 106 kilometers. Now, if you're wondering, how did people already know that she made the journey? Well, a lot of people witnessed it, and as I said, she also made stops for fuel at pharmacies. They didn't have fuel for cars then. They used Ligroin. I'm not exactly sure how you pronounce it, but you could only get it at pharmacies then. It was basically a cleaning solvent. So yeah, that's how new the concept of a car was. They didn't even have filling stations. The pharmacies were the filling stations. So Carl Benz invented the first practical gasoline-powered car, but the engine was very simple. It had just 1 cylinder and it produced less than 1 horsepower. Over the decades, engineers made engines more powerful by adding more cylinders, increasing efficiency, and introducing other technologies. So while today's Mercedes engines are incredibly advanced, they're all built on the same basic principle that Carl Benz helped pioneer. Before visiting this museum, I had no idea just how much Mercedes-Benz contributed to the modern cars. I knew it's a famous car brand, but I didn't realize that Carl Benz and the company were behind so many innovations that shaped the cars we drive today. As you walk through the museum, you can actually see the evolution of the automobile, from the first practical car to many technologies that later became the standard across the industry. It completely changed the way I look at Mercedes Benz. Mercedes Benz has built so much over the years: buses, trucks, racing cars, and even engines for aircrafts. It really shows you how deeply the company has been involved in the history of transportation. Polizei. I've actually only seen some of these car models in movies. For decades, Mercedes cars have been chosen by heads of states, popes, emergency services, and other official institutions. When some of the world's most high-profile organizations need a vehicle that's safe, reliable, and prestigious, usually they just turn to Mercedes Benz. And this museum showed me exactly why. In total, this museum has 160 vehicles on display and more than 1,500 exhibits spread across 9 floors, making it one of the world's largest and most comprehensive automotive museums. This area was my favorite part of the museum. I just loved the way the cars were displayed. The museum was busy but not overcrowded. There were a lot of people, but I still had enough space to look at the exhibits properly, and I didn't feel rushed. I think the layout also helped spread out people, so even on a busy day, I saw a lot of people enter the museum, but it didn't feel like there were a lot of people inside the museum. This museum is so big, and I had about 3 hours to see it, but that wasn't enough. If I was to recommend to anybody, I would give it half a day. And it's one of those museums I definitely would visit again. It's really amazing. And if you visit Stuttgart, this is something you cannot miss. The good thing is that I think all ages can enjoy this. And for someone like me who doesn't even care about cars, I also really enjoyed it. And I can't believe I never really knew about this museum until a few months ago. And it's been open since 2006. And if you're planning on visiting this museum, just be aware that it's only opened from Tuesdays to Sundays, and it's closed on Mondays. So if you're planning on visiting, just make sure you plan your days around the opening days. Also, I cannot imagine the maintenance cost for this museum. The entry fee is only 16 euros per person, kids under 12 it's free, and for teenagers they get a discount. So yeah, that's the museum, so I highly recommend it. I think it's good enough for you to visit Stuttgart on its own, and on top of that, they also have the Porsche Museum. I'll post the Porsche Museum's video soon after this one. Before leaving, I had to look around the museum shop. It's much bigger than I expected it. It's got everything from affordable souvenirs to detailed model cars to premium Mercedes Benz merch. So even if you're not planning on buying anything, it's still worth to go in and look around. Another thing actually is that you're also given the lanyard that connects to the audio guide as a souvenir. So if you don't buy anything, you'll still end up with a souvenir. Another thing I really liked about this shop is that it did have the variety of merch. So it wasn't just the car models, it had the t-shirts, the mugs, the caps. And of course, if you do collect car models, you will have a lot of options here. But for people that don't, you also have the other options where you can just get a t-shirt or something like that. And my last tip is to actually wear comfortable shoes because you would need to do a lot of walking around the museum. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. I hope to see you in the next video. Bye.